In this presentation, we will take a look at present value and future value and the relationship between them. To do that, we're going to take a look at these two sets of data and compare and contrast the calculation of the present value and future value. Now remember that there are three ways that we can go about this typically. One with the use of formulas, two with the use of tables, three with the use of Excel or some type of financial calculator. We're going to go through the concepts here. So if we have the amount of $10,000, the number of payments, 5 years, we're going to say in years in this case, and the rate, 15%. This is what we need to calculate the present value if we were to calculate the present value no matter what method we use, whether it be the formulas, the tables, or Excel. We would then get the present value of $4,972. Now, if we take that same present value and then use it as the amount that we're going to use the present value to calculate the future value using our same data, or similar data, we're going to have the amount, 4,972, the number of payments, 5 years, and the rate, 15%. We can then calculate the future value, and you could do this in Excel. We'll do this in Excel in our practice files as well, and that hopefully will just kind of solidify this relationship between the present value and the future value. They're going to be, of course, related formulas. We would get to the 10,000, which was our original 10,000 that we started with. Another way you might want to consider going through this data just to solidify the relationship between present value and future value is going through the calculation starting at the place of year 0, which is going to be the 4,972, the present value, and then get to year 5 through our calculation year by year. So if we take the rate then of 115, this is kind of shortcutting it because of course we're taking the 15%, and then we're taking 0.15 plus 1, 115%, 100% plus 15%. So you could calculate it such as 4,972 times 0.15, and then you would get 748, and then add to that the 4,972, and you get the 5,717. Or, and this is rounded, 5,718, or you can just take the 1,972 times the 100% plus the 15%, or the 1.15, 150%, to get that same 1717.8, and it's rounded to 1718 here. If we take that number times another 115%, so 5,718 times 1.15, then we're going to get in year 2, 6,575. So if we take that 6,575, 6,575 times 1.15 for year 3, we get the 7,561. So if we take that 7,561 times 1.15, we're going to get the 8,696. And if we take this, of course, we're rounding here, 8,696 times 1.15, we're going to get the 10,000. Of course, it's rounded. And so that kind of calculation can give you a better idea, or an idea of this relationship between the present value and the future value, a better understanding, a feel for the formulas, so that when you use them, you have a better idea of what's going to happen. What you want to do is have a good enough idea of what's going to happen, the relationship between them, so that if you miskey something or something goes wrong, you can say, hey, that doesn't make sense. Obviously, I'm going to go back through there and figure out what is wrong, instead of blindly relying on the formulas because we don't understand exactly how they work or what the relationships are. Once we have that information, we can go through the goal seek and solve for other factors which might add to our understanding of the relationship between the present value and future value. We'll do this in Excel examples, but note that if we have our information, everything except the interest rate, we can use goal seek to find that. For example, if we knew the 10,000, the 5 years, and we knew that the present value should be 4,972, well, then we want to solve for the interest rate. We could do that with a formula and plug in everything except the unknown, the rate, solve for it. Or we can use goal seek within Excel, which will in essence do the same thing. We can tell Excel, I'm going to put in the present value formula here, the present value formula, and then I'm going to tell Excel, hey, Excel, would you make that present value formula, that cell B, what I know the answer is, for what it should be, 4,972. That's a known factor in this problem. What I don't know is the rate. So I want you to use that present value formula to make this number 4,972 by adjusting this rate. This rate is used in the present value formula. And in so doing, it'll figure out, of course, what the rate is, which will be 15%. And if we did that same kind of analysis down here with the future value, if I knew the amount, the present value, if I knew the number of payments, and then the future value we know is 10,000, we can say, hey, I'm going to put in the future value formula here. Let's put in the future value formula and then tell Excel, hey, I want you to make this future value formula equal this 10,000 by changing the rate. I want you to change the rate until this is going to be 10,000. And again, if we do that, it'll fix the rate or change the rate to the 15% using a similar method. So if we go through some of these exercises, it can give us a better idea of a feel for these things. The relationship between present and future value. Recommend going through the Excel files and actually doing these exercises, and they'll give you a good feel for them, as well as learn the tool of things like goal seek and the formulas.